Hello, it's Cassie Oberg from Sealands Grove, Pennsylvania. We are going to talk a little bit more about my good friend, the Border Maker system. Yesterday, I taught you the basics, and today we're going to talk about what happens when you use a more delicate Border Maker punch. How do we keep it from sticking, and how do we make sure that the paper doesn't rip? So let's just go over to my hands, and we will talk about that. Okay, it's just a fun page I put together. I just did it over on our Creative Cafe International page, and I will show you some quick tricks on how we did that. But first, let's talk about all things that you need to know. So, sometimes you use a Border Maker cartridge that maybe has a little bit more detail in it. It's a little more delicate, and as you're working, sometimes it can get jammed or rip your paper. And it's sad. So I'm going to teach you how not to do that, especially if you're using your favorite paper. So sometimes people will double up on their designer paper to do it. And sometimes people will use this very thin backing paper that comes in our designer paper packs and double it up with the paper they're going to use. That's not the way I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I do, because I don't usually take the time or have the patience to, find something else to put in there, or I might not necessarily want to cut 2 punches. So I'm going to show you what I do. So I'm going to use this punch today. Both of these are excellent punches for making hearts on a page. I'm going to do it with this one because it's the newest punch, the wispy punch, and it's always fun to use what just came out, right? So if you need to know all the little basics for this, I did that in yesterday's YouTube, and you can just go back and watch it. I'm going to talk to you about how to make it not get stuck. So now you have this delicate punch in here with all these intricate designs. If you just put it in, if you look, it has these little bumps line up to show you where it's going to lock in, so you don't have to look for it. You just, bam, it's there. And then make sure it's securely in, and you punch straight down, and then you pull it straight out, then it won't rip. So what I've seen people do is just kind of try to whip it on up, or pull it down past where this paper is, and then that can get it jammed. So what you want to do is just make sure that you're putting it on where there isn't already a cut. So see how I'm coming from a little bit above, and then I'm just punching and pulling it straight out. And when you pull it straight out, then it won't get stuck. So you go up, you come from a little bit above, you pull straight out, and you end up with this border. Now you might be wondering how I got this look right here, where these make the little hearts and diamonds. I love that look. If we just punch another one, then they're not going to go together. They're gonna be the same way, and they're not going to go. And we need it to go the other way. So the way that we do that is just flip the paper over to punch the next one, and that way the same designer print will be up for the other one. Now, obviously, if you're using cardstock, it doesn't matter. It's the same color on both sides. But this is for if you would like to have them matching to go down. So you just keep going and pull it straight off. And when you do this straight off method, it's tried and true. You don't have to worry about going to any extremes, doubling up and whatnot, and you're going to always end up with a perfect punch. The other thing you're going to end up with is these beautiful little tiny strips, which can be used on your page. Now, I would never try to store those because they would get wrinkled and I'd lose them and it would just frustrate me. But I oftentimes use an entire collection together. And so I have everything laid out. Like if you look right now, I'm using the beautiful new Gradient Bright pages, which came out with Painted Garden. And I'm using the Painted Garden to go with it. And so I can leave it out on my table while I'm working on this project. So now let's just go ahead and put this down the opposite side of the page. And I want to do my little hearts. So I'll show you how we do that. This is important too. Use something. This is my silicone mat, which I absolutely adore. If you didn't get a silicone mat, you could use one of the bags from the paper packs or the sticker packs. But this is great because it does not stick to the mat as you tape. And you really want to just hold your border down and run the tape over it the whole way. If you don't hold it while you're doing it, then it could rip. And then look, no tape. You know how sometimes if you use something back there, some of the tape sticks to it, and then when you put your page down, the page sticks to it. You don't have to worry about that with this. And then when you put it down, you're just going to put the edge of this back up against and this to the bottom. And the reason you're going to put the edge of the back is because, look, see, it's not going to come all the way over to the edge on this side. So then we're just going to tape it down the whole way up. So pretty. So pretty. And this is just a beautiful way to add some extra to the page. My friend Christy, who was watching me over on our Creative Cafe International page, said that this could be swans, and that just brought me so much joy because, of course, I have the swans here on the farm. I'll never forget the day my husband brought them home, one under each arm. They were babies. They needed a place to go. And I was like, more animals. And then I fell in love with them the first day. It's usually how it goes with us. He brings something home. I go, oh my goodness. And then within 24 hours, I'm pampering them rotten and spoiling them. And he's telling me, quit spoiling the animals. And I'm like, then quit bringing them home. If it comes here, if it comes to the old birdhouse, it's going to get spoiled. Sorry. It's just the way I am. So down we go. Just put it down, and then look, it makes these cute little diamonds and our little swans kissing with the hearts. And you can do a similar design with this, with the brocade chain. It lines up and makes a really pretty design. I love anything that does this, but it seems like the things that are my favorite that have the matchup to make something beautiful, they tend to be the more intricate ones. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew how to make that work. Okay, if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments below and I'll be back to answer them. And you have a wonderful night. Thanks so much for joining me.